of a nuclear bomb, and I freaked myself out to the point where like I couldn't breathe, and like my heart rate was going super fast, and I was like, okay, I'm either dying or I'm really high. There's a good chance it could be the former. And so I was like, okay. So I unlocked my door, so that way it's not locked. So if I do die, my dad could walk in and recover my body.
Oh my God. Morbid preparations there.
Oh, yeah, dude, I was baked. I was, like, preparing for death in my room, cracked out of my mind on weed. And I go over to my bed, and I just go, I'm going to lie down, and I'm just going to die. And I went on Spotify, and I put on the sleep playlist. And I just listened to the sleep playlist like this is gonna be the music I die to tonight. And then I got bored of it, and then I started playing Drake, and then I started playing the music that I actually like. And by the time I got through like halfway through like the MGMT album I was listening to, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna die anymore. I think I'm pretty good. And I got back up and started watching Vsauce videos again.
I listened to MGMT in like the good part of my edibles high on that night. I was listening to like When You Die.
Yeah,
that song, that song was sick.
Yeah, that song bangs.
Did you watch the music video? Did you watch the music video?
No, fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
You gotta watch the music video. You gotta watch it.
So good.
Dude, I actually think that if I put that video on in the cinema room on that big screen, I actually would have died. I actually would have just had a panic attack and died. But.
Your context for people that don't know what we're talking about. This is a music video for a song by MGMT Management called When You Die.
Hey, by the way, this is actually the Misfits podcast I'm listening to. I don't want to get copyrighted for songs. So we're just going to go ahead and listen to the Misfits podcast. And they're pretty funny as fuck, dude. So if I were you, I'd watch them or listen to them. There's Fitz, Swagger Souls, there's some other guys as well. So yeah, I was going to continue.
And the music video is very, very trippy and very, very cool. Mm-hmm. It's super psychedelic. And
basically, it's like a bunch of like skin like turning inside out and stuff.
It's like the Google Deep Dream or whatever you said that they used to make it or whatever.
Yeah, they
so
use Google Deep Dream algorithms to do it. It's very good. They got the aesthetics of psychedelics down to the T in that video. Yeah. And it is just super trippy to watch on edibles or even high. But in college, I'd have friends that'd come over on fucking LSD and be like, yo, can we watch the music video, the MGMT music video? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I put it on, and they just fucking have their eyes wide open and their mouth just fucking hung down looking at the screen and just be like, oh my God, dude, it's so like, this is me right now. This is me, man. Yeah. And I'd be like, yeah, want to go in VR? And they'd be like, hell yeah. And then I put them in the VR thing, and then they stay there for like an hour until I come and get them.
Yeah, I've never done psychedelics, but that's how I imagine acid feels, that music video. Or how an experience
like 100%
could easily go on acid. Yeah, anyway.
Acid, don't fuck with acid.
Oh, yeah.
Don't fuck with psychedelics. If you are listening, just stick to weed.
If you're over 18.
Should be the upper echelon. If you're over 18, obviously.
You've got to be really sure you want to do psychedelics and make sure you're in a very safe, both a safe state of mind and that you have like a trip sitter or whatever.
It's a whole process to do.
I am the best trip sitter in the fucking world. All right? If anybody ever does any psychedelics in our group, let me know. I will make you have the time of your life. I will transform your entire life through all the shit that I can do.
I'd be too paranoid that you'd be trying to do like a bit and trying to fuck with me though if I were to do that.
No. Because Swagger always says he's very careful
I'm not
about
retarded.
That.
I'm not I'll fuck with you if you're on edibles or you're high. If Mason's baked, I'll be like, dude, you're having a heart attack. You're dying. It's just to fuck with him because he's not gonna die. You can't scare someone into a heart attack unless they have a heart condition and they're smoking weed. Yeah. But if you're on a psychedelic, you're like a baby. You're in a very fragile mental state. And you're not like a baby in the sense that you're an infant where I could pick you up and go, hey, you stupid fucking little bitch, and then put you down. You won't remember.
What?
It's like. It's like you're a baby in the sense that you're super like super like
vulnerable.
Oh yeah, vulnerable. You're easily manipulated and influenced, and you know, there's a lot of tricks to get people out of like thought loops and shit. I remember I had my one roommate. He dropped 2 tabs of LSD, and I didn't know. And I go back into my college dorm from a class, and he's sitting in his bed, and he's just going. And breathing, and I'm just doing work on my laptop with my fucking headphones in, and I fucking pop my headphone up, and I'm like, hey dude, are you all right? It's like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. Fucking leave me alone. I'm like, okay. Put my headphones back, and I'm just clicking away, and then I just hear, and I'm like, hey. Are you okay? Like, are you are you good? Like, what are you on something? He's like, dude, I'm fine. Just leave me alone. He's got like, his fight. He's screaming at me underneath his blankets, and I'm like, all right, okay. So he just, I put my headphones back and I'm typing again, and he's just making the same fucking noises. And he's like groaning, and I'm like, okay, maybe he had a fucking bad burrito or something. And so I'm just fucking doing my thing. Yeah, I'm just fucking.
At this point, you must know he's high.
Well, I had no fucking idea. You want to know when I knew he was high? When I was in the middle of typing, just about to finish my essay, and he goes, "Oh, I did it! I did it!" And I was like, "What? What did you do?" He goes, "I learned how to breathe. I learned how to breathe." I was like, "You what?" He's like, "I learned how to breathe, man. I learned how to." I'm like, "Are you on something? Are you okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I took 2 tabs of acid." I'm like, why didn't you let me fucking know that? I'm like, why didn't you let me know? He's like, do you want to go on a walk? I'm like, it's fucking pouring rain out, and it's like 30 degrees outside. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So he's fucking got my jacket on. It got soaked outside. It was fun, but dude, like the places that your mind will go on LSD or on like psychedelics. He took fucking shrooms. He took like an 1/8 of shrooms to himself once in the dorm room. Fucking I was editing a video, and he just sits down on the floor next to my chair, and I'm looking at him, and he's just looking up at me with like the most inquisitive expression I've ever seen, just like pure like confusion. And I look down on him, and I go, "Hey man, you all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then as soon as he says that, he tucks his head into his shirt, like the hole that goes around his neck. He just fucking tucks his head in there, and he just goes, "Holy shit, dude." And I go, "What?" He goes, "I'm a fucking cube right now." He's like, "I'm not even fucking kidding, dude. I'm a cube. I'm a fucking cube." And I go, "Dude, look at me." And he puts his head out of his shirt, and he looks at me. And I go, like, what are you talking about? And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm not a cube anymore. Like, it's like I'm here just like talking to you. Like, I'm just, it's like I'm just, and I go, "Well, do it again." And he goes, "What, like be a cube?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." And he fucking puts his head in his shirt, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's happening again." Like that.
And then you whip out your pickaxe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mine him for diamonds.
And you put him in the furnace.
Oh yeah, you get him
Imagine
extra.
that. Imagine being on DMT and thinking that you're Minecraft coal, and then someone mines you, and you go inside of a furnace, and then you go.
No, you're thinking of salvia.
Salvia. That's what I'm thinking
salvia.
of.
Yeah.
No.
DMTs if you want to see the machine elves and learn that reality is nothing but a trip in and of itself.
You want to know something funny?
And that nothing's real.
When I was a kid, I went to a few sleepover parties. I know I'm a wild card. So I'm going to these sleepover parties with my friends, and we don't get any sleep that night. And I'm the kind of person that really needs sleep. It fucks me up. So if I stay up for like a very long period of time, like 36 hours, this is like a fucking true story. So I'm back. My mom's picking me up for the sleepover. I'm in the car with her, and I start having what I can only describe as like it felt like a psychedelic experience, and I felt like, how do I describe this? I feel like
can totally do that.
I literally felt like I discovered the true purpose of life and the end of the universe. And I had this imagery in my mind of space and solar systems and like this arc that was time. I can't explain it, so I sound like a fucking crazy person. But as I was having this
how it is for any
dream,
drug-induced trip.
And I was having this dream with my eyes open, and I started clawing at my face and my skin and stuff. And my mum was like really concerned. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Are you feeling okay?" I'm like clawing at myself, and I'm like making noises and shit like a wounded animal. In my mind, I'm having this really psychedelic experience. I didn't take any drugs. I was just fucking sleep deprived. And I'm telling you, like, if I ever do like DMT or something like that, just part of me just knows that I'm gonna go back to that fucking place that I accessed when I was sleep deprived. I know that sounds crazy.
DMT is nothing like that. Or Salvia is nothing like that either. You probably go to something like that on fucking acid or another psychedelic. But
yeah, we were watching videos of people doing DMT at the house when we were in LA, and some of the things they described were similar to what I experienced. It's uneventful.
It's pretty uneventful. People just fucking, and then they fucking go to sleep for like 15 minutes, and then they wake up and they go, if they told me, the people told me that if I wanna see them again, I have to die. I have to die if I want to see them.
No,
again.
but legit, I'm talking about like an experience like that, on that level of like, I feel like I broke through consciousness.
Oh yeah,
like really,
like
like the words I was using to describe it were only like, I cannot even like describe exactly the imagery that I experienced or what it felt like, but it felt like I broke through.
That's something like you can get on a high dose, on a really high dose of psychedelics, but. Obviously, if you're taking them, you're not going to do 2 tabs or 3 or 5. You're probably going to do half a tab to start with, and then a tab after, and then do tabs one at a time until you're comfortable moving to the next step and you're acquainted with kind of the increment that 1 tab is. Because 1 tab is completely different from 2, just like how 2 grams, or how like a gram of psilocybin is like completely different from fucking 5.
Math.
It's just math.
Anyway,
it's a fundamental makeup of our universe.
Basically, ever since that day, I've been a sleep deprivation addict, and I'm still recovering. I constantly deprive myself of sleep to get back into that place. Maybe one of these days I'll finally break through, and I'll stay in that wonderful place forever. Moving on to my regular story that I was telling before about. That was a joke, by the way. I don't actually deprive myself of sleep to have a psychedelic.
Well, of course not, because then you'd fucking, because then how are you gonna have your drinking problem?
You're right. Like you gotta, balance your problems.
You gotta balance, you gotta
you
balance your
too many
drinking problem with your drug habits.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the LA story. Ryan thrown up in the bowl, me in fetal position in the corner of the couch, Mason wandering around in his underwear, and Sam looking like a kid, like who's only just taken in the world for the first time. So Mason's pacing around and like genuinely wringing his hands in extreme anxiety that he's in his underwear. I don't know why he took off all his clothes, but he's in his underwear. He wasn't even in the spa pool with us. He has no excuse to be naked. He's like in his underwear.
He's one of those people that will look for any excuse to get naked, I swear.
The whole time.
No, he only gets naked when he's fucked up. When he gets fucked up, he just takes all his clothes off.
The whole time this is happening, these LED strips in the ceiling are glowing like in a massive like fade of rainbow colors. And Mason eventually sits down next to me. I've got my back to him.
How did I not fucking hit him at any time, bro? Like, what the fuck?
And so I can like keep everyone's
I don't know how I hit
spirits
him
up.
at
I'm just
all. Like,
confident to say we're gonna be absolutely fine, guys. This is just really fucked up. But like after this, we're gonna be absolutely
big ass
fine.
BS,
Like
bro.
I was acknowledging how fucked up it was, but I was also saying like I know I'm gonna be okay, kind of thing. Which I did know somewhere deep down, but a very more primal part of me was saying this is very, very bad. Mason starts like tapping me on the shoulder and like saying like funny shit to me, and I can't remember what he said, but at one point he says something that I just thought was so funny that like a cascade of like kaleidoscope colors like faded through my mind in an arcing rainbow fashion, and as that was happening, I rolled my body onto the floor. And I was laughing the whole time. I was going like, "That's so fucking funny!" Like I was really like laughing really hard. But like as I was rolling and like going into like a position where my knees were on the floor and my face was in the seat of the couch, like out of laughter, this like kaleidoscope of rainbow colors was guiding me as I was doing that. It was like the visual representation of humor and laughter. And I was like, holy shit, this is really fucking something else. And then as soon as I got on the ground and my face was in the seat of the couch, it immediately got cut off like someone turned off a tap, and I was back into this fucking like depressing dystopian world where Ryan's thrown up into a bowl of nachos and we're all absolutely fucking up and it's really dark. This night was like, you know how in movies like The Hangover, there's like a period of time where everything's going great and everyone's having a lot of fun and the music's going and they're drinking or whatever, and then there's like a hard cut with like a boom, and then all of a sudden like everyone's fucked up and there's no music and everything's really like oh shit. That was what this evening felt like. It felt like that transition. Shit. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, basically, we're all just sitting there. Ryan's still throwing up. He must have thrown up into this bowl like 30 times, and that's not an exaggeration. Like he really was throwing up a lot, which was very concerning. Mason eventually is like, yeah, I think I gotta just go to bed or I'm gonna fucking die. I'm like, yeah, you should go to bed, buddy. That's a really good idea. Like bed sounds real good right now. I'm talking real fast. And he's like, okay. And he like he waddles off in his underpants, and I don't see him again for the entire night. And he got back to his room, but like he's gone. Then it's like Sam gets up and he goes to the bathroom on the top floor and starts throwing up. And Ryan doesn't even know that he left. And Ryan like looks to his left and he's like, Fitz? I'm like, yeah, buddy. He's like, where'd Sam go? I'm like, he just went to go to the bathroom. He's like, Sam? He like calls out to him. Sam doesn't fucking reply. Sam is dead quiet. And apparently like time was moving at a weird rate here, because apparently like an hour had passed and Sam had gone to the bathroom for like 30 minutes and kind of thrown up and stuff. And then he actually went to bed. But for me and Ryan, it felt like he was gone for 2 seconds. I felt like he just left to go to the bathroom. So we're kind of like, oh shit, like this is fucking, like we hope Sam's not dead. Like hopefully Sam is fucking okay, but you know, I'm sure that he's fine. Like in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm sure he's fine. Now it's my turn to go to sleep. I'm like, I should probably stay here and babysit Ryan, but I just need to go to bed right now or I'm gonna really lose my shit. So I'm like working up the courage to go down the stairs again because I don't trust the elevator. So I'm like working up the courage to go down the stairs again. I'm like, okay, Ryan, buddy. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave you here, man. I gotta go to sleep or I'm just gonna fucking die. He's like, yeah, I understand. Like, I'll be all right, because he's kind of getting over his vomiting at this point. So he you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay. Like, this is worth the risk of Ryan dying. I just need to go to bed. That sounds really fucked up, but at the time it was like, yeah, this is worth the risk, or else I'm also going to die. And it's better that, you know, like it was fucked up, man. It was really fucked up. I like stand up. I've got my hands on the walls. I'm like making my way down the staircase, which by the way has a huge hole in the middle, which just goes all the way down to the ground floor, which if you fall down, you're definitely
it's dead. Like one of those, like, you look down the middle of it, you can see like straight down all the way to the bum floor. Oh, yes, those are falling.
Exactly like that.
Those.
And it's like really like thin hand railing, and on the side of it, there's just a big glass window where you can see out into LA. So I'm like making my way down. I like somehow convince myself to brush my teeth, because even when I'm fucked up, like I'm remarkably responsible about my hygiene. I take off my clothes, I get into my bed, and I just feel like I'm on a ship rocking back and forth, and I go to sleep, and we wake up the next day, and I'm still fucking high. And I was high like all of that day, just in bed. I was like, I could not leave my bed. I was like, please get me water. My throat is really dry. They get me some water. Everyone else is fine, because Ryan's fine because he threw up, and everyone else threw up. I didn't throw up at all, so I'm still like digesting the edibles. So that whole day, man, I was out of action. I was just like, you know, when it was in the evening, it was a more mild high, but still enough to make me feel kind of sick, and like I just didn't want to kind of leave my bed. So I ended up staying in bed for like a whole day and a bit. A whole like, fuck man, it was probably like almost 30 hours in bed. Right at the beginning of our trip in LA.
What did I start off?
And needless to say, I did do edibles again. Yeah, I did do edibles again, but it was like a very small amount. But I didn't do them for like 4 days, I promise. Yeah, that's the main bad story from LA. There's a bunch of others, but we can't tell them right now.
Any other bad drug stories? Because we tell a lot of stories about drugs and shit on the podcast. But the thing is, we never really highlight any of the times where it actually goes kind of bad. Yeah. Like pretty bad.
Let's do Boston then, when we all got way too messed up there.
Well, what about PAX?
What about Toby? Tell your story at PAX.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
had a bad
that's a good
experience there. Bit of a
example.
scare
So-
there.
When we all first met each other, it was in PAX Australia.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like as soon as we landed there, it was like straight into, all right, we're doing stuff, we're hanging out, we're meeting each other. And then it was just constant, either we're at the convention or we're doing something for like the entire weekend. So it was just, we were all like super tired and super busy, like most of the time. And I remember we got to like an evening one night, and our manager comes up to us and he says to Fitz and I, he says, we got some industry parties to go to. If you want to, you got to come along. Are you guys like up for it? And I think Fitz was feeling like super tired or something.
Yeah.
So he says, look, I have to take Ritalin for my ADHD.
No, that's not what happened.
He
No, I
offered
was
it to
very
you.
against Ritalin. I did
Yeah.
not want to do Ritalin.
Yeah, I was
Ryan.
getting to that.
Oh, I thought you were saying that I said I got to
No.
do Ritalin.
No. Okay. Let me re-explain it then, just so it's clear. Ryan said to Fitz, "Do you want to try this? It will boost your energy up." And Fitz was very clear that he didn't want to.
Ryan's
But
never
me-
going to get a job again after this podcast.
But me, coming from a family where 3 of the people in my family take Ritalin and I've never been able to take it, I was like, that sounds interesting.
Do you want to describe what
curious
Ritalin
what
is
it's like.
for people who
So
don't?
Ritalin
know?
is basically it's a drug that's used for people with ADHD that helps them focus and
Yeah.
just like concentrate, basically.
It's
a
an
prescription.
amphetamine.
It's a prescription drug.
It's
and
a prescription
perfectly
drug.
legal.
Yeah. So I was like, can I try one? So I took one. Although
I
although
advised
people-
against this, by the way. I was
Yeah.
like, no, like we're not doing Ritalin. Like it's a bad idea. Like I'll just write it out. Toby's like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I'm like, don't fucking take Ritalin, dude. He's like, I'm gonna
So-
take Ritalin. I was like, I'll take Ritalin. so
So I took one, and then we went out to the party, and you know nothing happened. It was fine. I just wanna. I don't drink or anything, and I never smoke weed or anything either. But at this time, I was like, all right, I'm gonna. We got back to Ryan's house, and everyone was kind of chilling and partying. I was like, all right, I'm gonna have some tiny little bit of weed. So I had a little bit of weed, and also I had been drinking energy drinks all day. So I had shitloads of caffeine in my system. I had Ritalin in my system. So these two are uppers. And then I had weed, which weed's a downer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then
Yeah.
you drank, right?
No, I don't drink. But
No, you didn't drink?
No. And so I had the weed, which kind of brought me back down, right? And then I instantly just had this sort of, it was like my body was fighting itself, and I just could not get comfortable. And I was just like, I kept on wanting to be able to move into a different position, but I almost felt paralyzed and like couldn't move. So it was like that feeling of where you're like almost couch locked on like weed or something, and you want to move, but it takes like a lot of effort to actually get to that movement. I felt like
Right.
that, but I was extremely uncomfortable in every position. So I kept on moving around the room, and there was shitloads of people in the room at this time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just fucking threw up. And then I was like, everyone was like, it was like, shit, fuck,
yeah,
get
that was
outside, get
bad.
outside. So I like crawled out the fucking back door, like fell on
Commando
the
crawl.
grass. Yeah, like commando
Yeah.
crawl because I couldn't get up. And then I was just
Yeah.
like lying on the ground there for a bit. And I was like, fuck, what's happening? And then I think after that, I just started having a panic attack. And I have never
Yeah.
I'd never knowingly had a panic attack before. So I didn't know what it was like. And I was just lying there, and Fitz was beside me, and Ryan was beside me, and stuff, and they were looking after me and everything.
Yeah, I was
And
like
then I just
holding your
start-
hand and shit. You were shaking. You were like.
I just
seizing.
started shaking. Just out of nowhere, I just started shaking uncontrollably, and I
Yeah.
could not stop. And the bit that was scary to me was because I had never experienced this before, and I didn't know what it could be. I was like, is this leading to like, is this the beginning of what a seizure is like or something?
Yeah.
And I was just scared shitless. Like I was shaking, sitting there, and I just couldn't stop shaking the whole time.
He was
and,
really full body shaking, by the way. Like, it almost looked like an epileptic seizure. How much he was shaking. Like it was really
You know,
scary.
I felt bad because I was in the middle of telling his story.
Yeah,
and then
you
he
were.
throws up,
Fucking goddamn.
and I was like, I didn't think my story was that bad. You know, I was like
Yeah.
making jokes, and then Commando crawls out and he's outside throwing up and shaking, and I go out to check on him. I'm like, oh, is he okay? You know, little bitch, little pussy. You know, fucking can't hold his weed. You know, haha. And then he's shaking, and I go, You could put some milk in his hand.
Swagger's
make a
like
little
cracking
milkshake.
jokes, and I'm like, I realize that, like, I'm like worried for my friend. I'm like, oh, no.
Well, Fitz turns to me with his serious face. Is like, no, I think he's actually like having a problem. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
are we gonna are we calling someone?
it was probably the scariest moment of my life, to be honest. I was like just uncontrollably shaking in the backyard of my friend's house, and just didn't know what was happening. So like they asked me a couple times, so like, do you want me to call someone? Do you want me to call an ambulance? Do you need an ambulance? And I said no a few times, and then after a while, I didn't feel like it was ever gonna stop. I was like, actually, you know, maybe I should have an ambulance. So they called me a fucking ambulance. And I get, so to me, I think you guys said it was only like 15 minutes. But to me, it felt like I was on the ground for like an hour before I actually said,
I'd say it was 20 to 30. It was a long time.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
So to me, it felt like such a long time. But yeah, so they put me, did they put me on a stretcher, or did they just like walk me to?
I think they walked you out.
So yeah, they like came out to the backyard where you were lying there, and like, we were all kind of like around you, like trying to comfort you. They're like asking you a couple questions. You're like answering them. Yeah. They kind of realize, okay, it's nothing that serious. He's just having a bit of a panic attack.
Yeah.
I think we told them that you were smoked weed. Because in Australia, you don't go to fucking jail if you tell like the ambulance.
Oh,
yeah, because if you do,
I even asked Ryan. I was like, "Oh, do we need to like clean up or whatever?" And he's like, "No, they don't give a shit." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, because I looked at Ina, and I'm like, we have all this weed, and I'm like, dude, like if the ambulance is coming, we gotta hide this shit. We gotta hide everything.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out.
The Americans just hop the fence, like, fuck, man, we gotta get out of here. It's the fucking cops.
So for anyone who doesn't understand why this would be the case, the logic behind it is, if you get in trouble for having drugs around when you call an ambulance, that means people won't call an ambulance when they OD. So the logic is, all right, let's just make it that we ignore it. And then that way, people aren't going to fucking OD and then not do anything about it because they're scared they're going to get arrested. But anyway.
Plus weed in Australia is very relaxing. Like, if a cop finds like a casual smoke sesh, you're not going to go to fucking prison for it. You might just get it confiscated at a warning. You know, like it's not that serious for weed.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there on the couch. I'm sitting there on the couch with Ina. The fucking 2 EMTs come in, and this other guy is just ripping a bong, and they're fucking looking at us. Was it Packett? I'm pretty sure it was Packett that was still smoking or something.
That's so funny.
And the fucking EMTs come in, and he just fucking waves at him, and they're just like, "Oh, you boys look like you're having a fucking good night, eh? Yeah, all right. What's the problem going on here?" They fucking go out back and like, "All right, mate. What's your name? What's your name? Toby? Oh, all right, Toby. Yeah, come on up. Yeah, all right. How old are you? You know, they just ask you the questions.
Yeah. And
so I'm sitting there like, oh, this isn't a problem. Okay, all the weed isn't a problem.
You start offering him some. Hey, you want a hit of this?
Yeah, want a rip?
No, mate. I gotta drive your mate back to the hospital.
They stood you up and they walked you through the party, which was more of a gathering of just stoned cunts.
Yeah.
And I go with you, and Ryan goes out there as well, and they take you to the ambulance, which is parked outside, and there's like a stretcher in the ambulance, and you lie down there.
This was almost the scariest part, being in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Because you're lying down on a stretcher in the back of an ambulance as it drives through traffic while uncontrollably shaking and just scared shitless. So you're being like, moved around by the momentum of the car. It was just freaky.
Yeah, me and Ryan went with you, right? Me and Ryan were in the ambulance with you.
I think Ryan came afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
You went with me.
It was just me, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying to comfort you. I'm like, oh, it's going to be all right, man. Like, we're good. I'm like trying to explain to you, like, what the car's doing so that you have, like, some awareness of your surroundings. I'm like, we're just at the red light right now. Okay, now we're going.
But we get to the hospital, right? And I'm like lying in this. There's a couple people on stretchers, and we're like lying in this. Seems like almost a middle ground before they decide where they're gonna take each person, and we're lying there for a little bit. I was desperate for water at this point, but I was later informed that the reason they didn't give me water was because there was a chance they might have needed to pump my stomach, and it turned out that I had been like drinking lots of alcohol or something, but I hadn't.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know this, and I was like, dude, I am so unbelievably thirsty. and I just was desperate for a drink, but I thought they were assholes and not giving me water, but it turns out there was a reason. But after
fucking assholes, why aren't you giving me fucking water?
But after a while of just lying there, I think they just take me into the waiting room where we're with a bunch of like fucking hoodlums and junkies who just look like they're looking for a place to stay.
Addicts.
Yeah. And we were probably, I don't know how long we were in the waiting room.
Long time.
We were in there for a while, and it just got to the point where I was like, look, I feel like they're probably not actually going to do anything for me. I feel like they're just going to calm me down a little. I don't think there's anything actually that wrong. So I reckon we should just go home, and I should just go to bed, and I'll probably be okay. Because I had slightly calmed down a little bit at that point. I was still shaking a bit. I was still shaking a little bit, but it had calmed down a lot, I think.
What happened is that Ryan and me were there with him, and I was sat next to him, just like with my hand on your back, just like sitting there
you were falling
for like
asleep.
an hour. I was falling asleep sitting down. Like I had my phone out, and I kept falling asleep and dropping my phone on the ground because I was so exhausted. Because like, bear in mind, this was on the same night that we flew in. Like this is the same day. Like we were all fucking, a bit tired and from travel and whatnot. So I was like falling asleep. We were there for 40 minutes to an hour. And eventually, you just.
And it was an uncomfortable place to be as well.
We were
the other
sitting
people
down
that were in there.
Chairs. Yeah, in a public place. So but eventually you stop shaking and sort of realize, okay, like I'm gonna be. Do anything for me. And I think we just Ubered home or something.
Yeah. And then Ryan let us have his bed, and we slept all day the next day.
Slept all day, and then the next day you felt fine. We went to the convention center and we met a bunch of fans, and none of them knew that the night before Toby was
on the floor.
Yeah, but thinking back at it, I mean, that was like a probably hour and a half, 2 hour panic attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fucked.
I've heard that panic attacks. Like what I imagine a panic attack is like taking an edible of fear. Where it's just like pure fear, and you're just afraid the whole time. Like your primal fear just kicks in.
So scary. I think it was. I think there was a whole. I think basically like I think that the drugs like started it, and then just all the fears of the weekend, like meeting all these people that I had never met before, and I'm not the most social person. It just all like blew up, and I was like, oh shit,
yeah.
And obviously,
combined with the uppers and downers, like.
Yeah, exactly. That only would have enhanced it.
There's probably also like shame and anxiety. Like,
exactly.
Oh my god,
like I just threw up in
I threw up in front of a bunch of people. Now
exactly.
I'm getting escorted out by EMTs in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah,
like this is not a good first impression. Like that will all fuck with you.
Yeah.
It will super fuck with you.
There were a lot of people there too. Like Chad, Anything for Views was there. Like B was there. Like a bunch of people we were just.
It was the first time we had met Bucks.
Bucks was there.
Oh yeah.
True.
That's right.
Fuck. Yeah, a lot of people were there.
Even now, just talking about it, I have like such an uncomfortable feeling in my chest.
Well, it's like pooping your pants in like the 6th grade. It's just quite like that. Well, it's similar. It's one of those things that you look back on and you go, ooh, yikes.
Trust me, I shit my pants every day in the 6th grade. I feel great. Right, that's absolutely fine. No, but this is just, because we're going to be talking about probably drugs a little bit on this podcast. Because we're pretty open about it, and we're all okay with weed. Like, weed is legal many places now, and I believe it should be.
I don't even smoke it.
I'd say give it like 5 or 10 years, right?
Yeah, but this is just, just kind of, prove that.
Well, to show you the two sides of the coin, man. Doing drugs isn't always like, I got fucked up with my friends and now I'm high. It's like, oh my god, I think I'm fucking dying. Oh my, it's like I'm going down a fucking toilet right now. Oh shit.
And obviously, most of it's all in your head when it comes to weed, and you're not really putting yourself in any danger. But you just it's not a pleasant experience, and no one wants to have an experience like that. So
that's the thing. On a high doses of THC or crossing drugs. Like if you fucking flip drugs, or if you're on a huge dose of edibles, like you could put yourself in a psychosis. You could fuck up your body if you have a heart condition. It could be you could actually have a risk, and you could have a severe medical problem, and you could have a very adverse reaction to this stuff. So don't listen to the podcast and be like, I want to be just like Fitz. I'm notorious, John on the radio, and Swagger Souls, and do a lot of drugs and nothing with my life.
I want to go to a Polish strip club and get my dick sucked. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like it's one of those things you gotta like look at because we really don't tell like the bad stories or like the stuff where shit goes wrong or when it's terrible because those aren't really usually as entertaining. And in most cases, they're gross, like throwing up into a bowl of nachos for 30 minutes.
It was pretty gross, but that story was pretty funny. You got to admit, that was pretty funny. Like, we all laughed about it the next day.
Well, that's
just the whole